Now, we continue to get more reaction on this particular report. We're now joined by political analyst Lukhanyo. Lukhanyo, as always, thank you very much for your time. Lukhanyo, I must say, you know, at this point, I've been continuously saying these are unprecedented times, uncharted waters. What is society to make of this particular report?
Good morning, Vundo. Yes, indeed, this is an epoch-making moment in the history of our democracy, that a president has been found by an expert panel that he indeed has a case to answer on very serious charges of having stored money in his furniture, money that is of dubious origins, and when that money was stolen, having exercised in an extrajudicial hunting down of the suspect that stole from him, kidnapped them, and tortured them on his farm. And he did this, through our borders and involved other countries such as Namibia. So epoch-making moments that really would come to define, I think, this era that we are in. And what society must understand is that the president has two options. It's either he resigns or he resists, and he can co-opt the ANC into any of those decisions. The ANC itself also has two options. Either they remove their president or they defend him. And there are various mechanisms in which they can do all of those things. But what we clearly can see is that the president is on borrowed time. And the clock started ticking last night when that report was issued.
Mm-hmm.
And plainly, Vundo, is that by the time we go to bed tonight, we might not have a president as the country.
Mm-hmm. But some, particularly within the African National Congress, might beg to differ, because my colleagues were speaking to Pulemabe, who says at the very least, when you just look at this report, it doesn't meet the standards of the step aside, because there is no case currently, at least related to the president or linked to the president. So in that instance, according to them at the very least, there would be no need for him to step aside or for him to resign or anything of that nature at this point.
He's correct. And that's why I was saying there are various mechanisms which that they can use at the ANC. Currently, the president has not been charged and therefore doesn't fall squarely within the definition of those who must step aside. But what you also look at, Fundo, is that this becomes an untenable situation for the president, in that he would be extremely hamstrung in carrying out his constitutional responsibilities while this process reaches the stage at which it has reached, which is the boiling point stage. For an example, today he was supposed to answer questions fulfilling his constitutional obligations at the National Council of Provinces. That has had to be cancelled or postponed because the president is really engulfed in this expert panel report and its implications for him and for the country. So what that gives you is an indication that the president would be extremely hamstrung from carrying out his constitutional responsibilities if he has to, at the same time, process this panel report and go through a possible Section 89 committee, because we know how those drag out. You look at the public protector and how she's sitting in those, the Section 194 committees all day, every day, for weeks on end. And we cannot have a president that is absent like that must go and sit in this committee, in this Section 89 process, while the country is on autopilot. So it's untenable for the president to continue like this. And I think that's the realization that the ANC might also make.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we perhaps delve deeper into that statement by Mr. Mabi relating to the step-aside rule, we've consistently spoken about Rule 25, which the unintended consequence of elevating the step-aside was that Rule 25, which deals with all kinds of ill discipline, now has fallen by the wayside, because even there, if they looked and scrutinized that particular rule of theirs, there could be something that empowers them to perhaps have some sort of discipline or some sort of a disciplinary process.
Yes, but I don't think that's the route they would want to go, Fundo, and I don't think it would be advisable, because this is not really a discipline issue on their president. It's a political question for the ANC that must be resolved by the highest decision-making structure of the ANC. What does a president that has been found have prima facie a case to answer for these very serious and grave allegations of having money stored in his Phala Phala farm, kidnapping people, torturing them, and running extrajudicial investigations. What impact does that have politically on the life of the ANC and the brand that is the ANC? And they must then make a decision based on that to what becomes then the political solution to the quagmire that the president has dragged the ANC into with these revelations about Phala Phala. And it's not really a disciplinary issue. I don't think it's a matter of the president misbehaving and therefore needs to be taken through a process. It really requires a political decision that is made by the NEC, either for the interest of the president or for the interest of the ANC. And if they find that the two are the same, then they can go ahead and defend him and see how long that will last.